A bear that looked like a raccoon and had a dangerous appetite. The dawn bear may have been one of the earliest carnivorous mammals, and its taste for shellfish may have gotten it in trouble. Some 30 million years ago, a primitive bear roamed near a river in what is now North Dakota. A male, he probably looked like a raccoon and might have eaten like an otter. An inspection of the curious critter's skeleton provides details of the animal's brief and likely painful life and clues about the evolution of early carnivores. Paleontologists excavated the fossil of the bear in 1982. It's a fabulous specimen that is just exquisitely preserved, said Xiaoming Wang, a vertebrate paleontologist at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. The skeleton includes the baculum, a penis bone found in many mammals that is rarely preserved. In an article published earlier this month in the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology, Dr. Wang's team noted details of the creature's features from his teeth to the tips of his toes. This animal is really telling us a lot of stories, he said, adding that his team also found 5 other members of this species in nearby sediments. Based on comparisons with animals living and extinct, Dr. Wang's team placed the creature early in the evolution of mammalian carnivores, a group that includes the dog family and cat-like and bear-like animals. From this specimen's relatively large molars, the scientists could tell that it belonged to the arctoids, a vast group of carnivores that includes bears, seals, skunks, raccoons, weasels and otters. The arctoids also share a common ancestor with dogs. This animal, though, was not the ancestor of modern bears. It's a small side branch, but it's a very important side branch, Dr. Wang said. Dr. Wang's team named the animal Aorctos vorax, referring to the lineage's evolutionary antiquity. Aorctos combines Greek words for dawn and bear. Vorax means voracious, nodding to an appetite that may have gotten the best of this creature. From snout to tail, the Aorctos vorax was about 2 feet long. Many of his skeletal features resemble those of raccoons, Dr. Wang said. With claws that were longer and sharper than the modern dumpster divers, Aorctos would have been adept at climbing trees and perhaps at using that ability to escape from predators. Though its ancestors would have dwelled in trees, this creature was likely terrestrial. Its relatively flat feet would have allowed him to walk long distances. In past decades, paleontologists thought that arctoids emerged in Europe. But researchers are making a strong case that, in fact, these groups originated in North America, said Blair Van Valkenburg, a vertebrate paleontologist at the University of California, Los Angeles, who was not part of the study. The Aorctos seems to be one of the earliest carnivores capable of crushing hard objects, such as bones. A dental exam revealed the animal had broken teeth in the back of his mouth on the right side of his jaw, which most likely became infected. Then, before healing, he used the left side and damaged those teeth also. Those are the broken off roots, Dr. Van Valkenburg said. Some of the other individuals also lost teeth in similar fashion. They must have been eating very hard things, she said. Dr. Wang's team suspects that Aorctos munched on mollusks in prehistoric North Dakota's rivers, crushing their shells as otters do. Because of his small skull, only around 4 inches long, the bones of potential prey seem unlikely to cause the sort of damage the Aorctos sustained, though Dr. Van Valkenburg wondered if he could have been eating fruit with hard pits. The chomping of such hard foods seems like a rather specialized way of eating. That in itself is kind of interesting, Dr. Van Valkenburg said. At the time of the dawn bear, mammals were starting to fill the holes in ecosystem roles left by the demise of dinosaurs 35 million years prior. It takes a long time for the diversity of organisms that we have today to evolve, she added. Eating might have ultimately been what did this animal in. By analyzing the relatively unworn teeth of the complete Aorctos specimen, Dr. Wang's team could tell that this male died young, possibly because of a blood infection caused by his injuries. The double jaw injury would have been incredibly painful, Dr. Wang said, and the creature would have suffered for weeks or months. But for all of his suffering, he certainly made a huge contribution to science, Dr. Wang said. An exquisitely preserved skeleton of Aorctos vorax, November, General, ETSP. From Fitterer Ranch, North Dakota, Early Oligocene, and Systematics and Phylogeny of North American Early Arctoids, Carnivora, Caniformia. Abstract. An exquisitely preserved male skeleton of an early arctoid, Aorctos vorax, new genus and species, provides a unique window into the origin and early divergence of Carnivora. Recovered from the Fitterer Ranch locality in the early Oligocene or Whitneyan North American land mammal ages Brule Formation of southwestern North Dakota, 32 Ma. The new Arctoid offers an opportunity to evaluate the fundamental relationships of the caniform, dog-like carnivorans. Aorctosvorax possesses a suite of plesiomorphic characters inherited from its Miacid ancestors, making it an ideal model for ancestral Arctoids. We present a comprehensive treatment of E. vorax, combining traditional description with photographic documentation, micro-CT, laser scans, and photogrammetry. Showing its plesiomorphic morphology, Aorctosvorax is scansorial, somewhat like a modern raccoon, retaining the ability to climb trees and lacking cursorial adaptations present in the early Conid Hesperocene. However, E. vorax shows clear signs of Durophag's craniodental morphology, presumably for an obligatory diet of mollusks with frequent damage to shell-crushing premolars, plus associated dental infections. We review several other key North American early Arctoids and present total evidence, nuclear DNA and discrete morphological characters, Bayesian and parsimony analyses of caniformia phylogeny, including extinct Stemtoxa plus a living member of all modern families. We recognize an endemic North American ursoid clade, subparictid, which includes Aorctosvorax. We demonstrate the importance of North America as an early cradle of evolution for caniform carnivorans, including early precursors of Conid, Amphicyonid, Ursid, and Pinnipedia. Preface. This project was initially conceived by two of the co-authors, Richard Tedford and Robert Emery, based on the beautifully preserved Fitterer Ranch specimen from the National Museum of Natural History collection at the Smithsonian Institution, complemented by additional materials from the Frick collection at the American Museum of Natural History. Because of his lifelong interests in carnivorans in general and ursoids in particular, Tedford was to provide a basic framework of early Arctoid relationships. Progress, however, was slow, and by the time Tedford passed away in 2011, there was still no manuscript except for a few handwritten notes on the assembly of hypodogms and their stratigraphic occurrences. Tedford's untimely death in 2011 left this project in limbo. In 2017, Emery invited X. Wang to join this project along with C. A. Boyd and J. Person, who have made additional collections of Fitterer Ranch carnivorans as well as working on their stratigraphy and chronology. Boyd et al. Citation 2015. Nevertheless, Tedford's influence can be felt in a body of published works in the 1990s as well as through personal communications between Tedford and Wang, while the latter was a postdoctoral fellow at the American Museum. In an attempt to clarify the confused taxonomy of some Stemberphagan conids, later treated in a separate monograph, Wang et al. Citation 1999, Wang and Tedford, citation 1992, singled out Nothosian Geismarianus to untangle misconceptions about early Berphagines associated with this name. In a ray description of Colponomos, a semi-aquatic early Arctoid, Tedford et al. Citation 1994, sketched out their concept of a paraphyletic amphicynodontid. Subsequently, Baskin and Tedford, citation 1996, published an interim summary of North American early Arctoids, which is closer in taxonomic coverage to the present volume. These three treatments on early Arctoids contain ideas of how Tedford envisioned his framework of ursoid relationships, but all of them implicitly defer full descriptions of North American early Arctoids to a systematic treatment in preparation. Although we have greatly benefited from Tedford's legacy, including the senior author's many years of postdoctoral training under Tedford plus many more years of collaboration on a wide variety of subjects, more so in the species taxonomy and the general scope of his approach cultivated in his lifelong interests in the ursoids, the entire descriptive work and fundamental phylogenetic framework presented in this volume was developed after Tedford's passing. Introduction. The infraorder Arctoidea, flower, citation 1869, or bear-like carnivorans, is the most diverse clade in the order Carnivora, with approximately 268 extinct and extant genera, about 55% of all carnivorans. MC Kenna, citation 1995. It includes such familiar, often iconic, predators as bears, ursid, seals, sea lions, and walrus, Pinnipedia, red pandas, aelrid, skunks, mephidid, Arctoidid, raccoons and ringtails, procyon, weasels, otters and badgers, mustelid, as well as a large group of extinct bear dogs, Amphicyonid. Arctoidea, together with its sister group, infraorder Cynoidea, mostly the dog family Canidae, forms the suborder Caniformia, Kretsoi, citation 1943, or the dog-like carnivorans. Basic relationships and approximate geologic ranges, solid bars of carnivora showing various families of Arctoidea as well as higher.